I knew in the month of December because we had just celebrated our anniversary. And that was the thing, whether we were together or not, it was a thing for us to always celebrate our anniversary
So that
together.
keeps y'all together.
That kept us
Right.
together.
Even though in your mind we're away from each other.
Because in my mind, even though I knew I was in this relationship, I wanted to keep my friend.
Ooh.
Christmas comes around. I decided I wouldn't do it before Christmas because
the breakup, because you consider it.
Yes.
Because you're worried about his feelings.
You know what? It wasn't his feelings. It was my kids.
Okay.
Because I've dealt with this man for 10 years, and I knew that if I said this before the holidays, he would not be mature enough to set that aside and us have a nice holiday, family holiday. So I did what I felt I should do. And I let us enjoy Christmas because my kids would have looked for their father on Christmas. And I wasn't going to do that to my kids. So we had Christmas. And the crazy thing is he sensed it because he brought it up. He felt something was off. And I denied it. And I said, I'm just tired. It's the holidays. So we spent Christmas together. My words were, I just think we need a break.
Okay.
I think we just need, I just want to get back to me. It wasn't received well.
Of course not.
In his mind, we've been together 10 years. People who are together 10 years don't take breaks. Either we break up or we're together. After I said that I wanted to end that no day, from that moment was easy for me. We would see each other daily, but every day we were together, this was a conversation we were having.
Right.
Are we going to be together? Are we not going to be together? And at that point, I started to feel like he was trying to bully me into a decision I didn't want. And every day, he wanted to have this conversation. February came. We took our children to the circus. Normal day, beautiful day, had a family day. After the circus, this same day, he was supposed to leave to go to work. Me and my kids went home.
So he has a job now.
He had a job. Okay. A job that wasn't straining on him, physically, and he had this job probably for a couple of months at this point.
Okay.
So I took my kids home. I don't have visitors at my house. So the moment me and my kids walked in the door and I locked the door, there was a knock at my door. And it was him. The love in me wanted to believe that he was just, doing just coming by to see us one last minute, checking on us. The reality is when I opened that door, I knew something wasn't right.
And now, he was supposed to be at work.
He was supposed to be at work.
Okay.
So now at this point, you're like 30 minutes late for work. And you're walking in my apartment like just everything's okay. But I knew something wasn't right. The energy was off. And it went through me immediately. Something was off. He came in. I allowed him to come in. Why would I not allow him to come in? That day was the first day that he attempted to take my life in front of my kids. My 7-year-old attempted to help me.
So he was attacking you, and your 7-year-old was trying to get him off of you.
Yes, ma'am. And I am fighting, like to the death, because this can't happen, not in front of my kids. In my mind, all I wanted to do.
He just came in and just.
He just came in, I just came to check on y'all, make sure y'all got home, he hugged me like it was normal, like he would embrace me any other time we saw each other. This was, he walked in so calmly, and then he flipped like a light switch. And in my mind, all I am thinking is, let me be able to talk him down enough to get us out of this house. You know, he told me he hated me. You know, he said a lot of hurtful things. Um, but I couldn't register that. I could only register that I want to get me and my kids out. Like I want to get out. So at that point, I will tell you whatever you want to hear. If you listen. The moment he left, I packed me and my children up, and we stayed at my parents. And I had been at my parents from then on.
Let me ask you something. Did you ever call the police and put out like a he attacked me and
that
restraining
day,
order?
No.
Okay.
That day I did not. I just went to my parents. You know, he called and texted.
What made him stop?
Pleaded. I don't know, honestly. Because at that moment I thought I was gone.
Was he strangling you?
Yes, he was choking me from behind. He had actually tried to get me in a room with him alone, and that's when the fighting started. Because I said, if he gets me in here by myself, he's gonna kill me. So I fought as hard as I could fight. And, you know, he stopped and he looked at me, and, you know, his thing was he would tear me down as low as he could tear me.
Verbally.
His words cut like a knife. His words crushed me.
This much you're saying these mean things to me?
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly. So after that, you know, I'm at my parents' house. You know, I told my mom what happened, and I cried. I just cried. I didn't know what to do. 4 days later, because at this point, you know, we're still friends. We're hanging. We're kicking it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. This is what. Yes, ma'am. I am trying to hold on to this man in some way, shape, or form.
It was our manipulation,
and
that's all I think it is.
And now that, and since my incident, since I've thought, and I have thought about the last 10 years, and I realized at certain points when I was being manipulated.
He knew you valued.
Yes.
Y'all's friendship. Yes. He knew that.
Yes.
So even if he couldn't be with you, he knew you valued the friendship. So he manipulated and pretended.
Yes, ma'am.
Like he valued it too. He didn't value the friendship. He wanted to either have you and have full control over you or nothing.
And that's exactly what they came to.
Yes.
Yes.
It was never, oh, well, I'll be friends with her.
And
if I can't have her, we can still be friends. He knew that was a way to keep you close and keep you, and then try to get you back in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he would always tell me, you know, if you don't want me, I'll respect that. You know, we could be great co-parents, though. And I believe that. Because I would still have my friend. Like, we would still... Because in my mind, nobody would know the difference from the outside looking in. Because
and that was important to you.
That was important to me. Because we would still be doing things as a family. Nobody would know.
And you're still number one.
Yes.
And that means something.
Yes.
And I think this is why this is going to help somebody else.
Yes.
Because a lot of young women, that first person, that's the best person.
Yes.
That means I don't care who you are, you coming behind me, and I'm always going to be number one in his life.
Because after 10 years, I made my mark. So it was anybody after me would have to be just...
second best.
Yes. So after that, like, you know, 4 days later... You know, we were still hanging. I would go get him from work. You know, we would hang, ride with the kids.
You felt safe around him?
I felt safe. Even after that.
Even after.
Because, you know,
he's sorry.
He knew, yes. He was really good at manipulating. He knew exactly what words to say to me to make me believe that he would never really try to kill me.
How many times has he never? Can we count the never?
Oh,
how many nevers? That's all I want to say.
Right.
If we could just, can we get $5 for every never?
Oh
my God.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, girl.
No, it is. Trust me, it is a lot, and that's why I want to do because I'm hoping that this opens somebody's eyes. You know, this is
it will.
A man I thought I knew. Like nobody could convince me I didn't know him.
Absolutely.
So 4 days later. you know, we're hanging with the kids, and you know, we were on my end of town, and you know, I ran home real quick. I left him in the car with the kids. I ran in the house. I ran out. You know, because I didn't want there to be any.
Because y'all still haven't been
we still
home
haven't
alone.
Been back home
Because you're still
incident.
staying with your mom and your dad.
Yes, ma'am.
And you haven't been going to his house.
No. And after that first
bless
incident,
your heart, Donna, for having to deal with that.
He never came to my house.
So when she leaves, wait a minute, hold on.
It put her through a lot.
Oh my God. So when she says, what's his name?
Charlie.
Well, Mama, me and Charlie, I know you like, what? You and Charlie, what?
Yeah. It got to the point where
because I know you ready to put him in a tree somewhere.
It got to the point where when he would call, I would go in the other room and talk to him. Because I didn't want her to know that I was still talking
and sneaking.
to him. Yes. But she
of
knew.
Of course, because she's Mama.
She knew.
Girl, we know all these things.
I knew when I was saying it wasn't him, she knew. But she never told, I mean, even though I knew she knew and she knew, she never said anything. You know, so, because in my mind, I'm telling her I'm okay. I'm okay.
I got this.
I'm going to be okay.
But she wasn't sick and tired yet.
She wasn't
I wasn't sick and tired. He wants his family. Now he's playing the family card. He wanted, you know, in his eyes, we couldn't fix anything if we weren't in the same household. And I'm telling him,
he's tired of y'all living apart at this point.
Yeah. And he just begged and pleaded and convinced me. And I looked him in his eyes and said, don't make me regret it. I'm trusting you. And we went in my house. We spent the night with the kids, had a wonderful night. You would have never thought that we had just went through what we went through. The kids were happy.
So what did you call Mama and say?
I just told her I took the kids home. The kids, because at this point, you know, my kids are young. They had their own rooms, and they were missing home. And so I just told her that I took the kids home to play, and, you know, we fell asleep.
Did you know that this is what had happened, Donna?
No.
You didn't know. You believe that you believe your daughter and her grandbabies are at home.
Right.
Okay.
And the last thing I said was be careful.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So had a wonderful night. Kids were happy. You know, we ate, we laughed, we played, and it was time to go to sleep. And me and him slept like me and him had never been apart. And you know, we went to sleep, and it was a great night. I had to be at work the next morning at 6:30 a.m. We fell asleep. My daughter was in the bed with us, and my son was in his room. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I didn't know what it was. You know, I felt something on my head, like something woke me up. When I opened my eyes, I was staring down the barrel of a gun. Yes, ma'am. Terrified, crying and pleading, because
I have not had any argument.
No, at this point he has opened my phone and saw conversations.
Oh,
and he saw conversations. Now at this point, you know, these are friends that I'm conversating with. So now I'm staring down the barrel of his gun, and I'm looking in his eyes. And I don't know what I'm seeing. I didn't know what to expect. My daughter was next to me. My son was in the next room.
Was she asleep or was she awoke?
She was asleep. And the only thing he said to me was, don't scream, or I'll shoot. And I believed it. Because when you're staring down the barrel of a gun and you don't know what they're thinking, that is the worst fear imaginable. And part of me believed he would shoot.
Of course.
And the other part of me
this
wanted to believe
This is the same man that tried to kill you.
Yes, ma'am.
A month or so ago.
4 days before this. This was 4 days.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. So, you know, I'm trying to convince him, because at this point I'm up. You know, there's blood dripping down my head, and I'm just...
Why?
Because he hit me with the gun. That's what woke me up. That's what woke me up.
Girl.
Yeah. And pleading and saying whatever I have to say.
Is he cussing and screaming or?
Oh, he's telling me, he hates me. He don't trust me.
Does he have your phone in his hand or?
Oh, he has my phone. He actually called one of these people, and they are actually going back and forth.
No.
And in my mind, I am, because as young people, when you're in a situation like that, you don't know what somebody's gonna say just to make your spouse mad. So in my mind, this is just a friend, by the way. And in my mind, I'm just hoping, and this is a guy he knew was a friend. This was just a friend. So he knew
but
this
the
was
fact
a friend.
that you've had him for this many years,
That was the problem.
He's been a friend for 7 years.
He's been a friend.
So in his mind, he been waiting to get to you for 7 years.
That's exactly what he thought.
Which is probably was.
That's exactly what he thought. And and my thing was, he had all these female friends.
Of course, but you can't have any.
Oh, no. And I have to respect that these are friends, because you knew them before me. But out of respect for my relationship, I ended anything that you thought was a threat.
See, that's that control.
Yes.
That's that control.
And he got exactly what he wanted. So when he found out about this guy, now I'm just hoping that because you didn't call somebody's phone at 5 o'clock in the morning.
So whatever he might have going on.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna say some off the wall stuff just to make you upset.
And it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Nobody wants to be. So now I'm just like, praying that this guy doesn't say anything trying to be funny, because he doesn't know the seriousness of this situation I'm in right now. So, they hung up, and I'm in the bathroom and I'm wiping my head.
Oh, he let you up.
He let me up.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm in the bathroom wiping my head, and at this point now I'm intentionally trying to wake my kids up. I need my kids up because in my mind he won't do anything. He's sitting right in front of me. He was sitting right in front of me. And at this point I'm getting my daughter up because in my mind, if my kids are up, he won't do it.
I know what you're thinking, but that's not always
and
true.
And it's not. And the whole time I'm just hoping and praying that this is so. Now I'm telling him whatever he wants to hear, and a little bit I can hear it calming, because now in his mind maybe it went from anger to hurt. So now I know that I have talked him down enough where he's rational enough for himself. So we were able to get out the house. Worked 10 hours. And that whole day, I received calls. I received text messages.
Because he's up and down.
Yes.
Because he's 1 minute, he's like, okay, we're going to do this. But wait a minute, hold on, he's thinking about things. And let me call her to ask her this. And, but now, you said this and that. And now I'm hearing this.
Exactly.
Yeah, see, I've been through something.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
So after that, I talked to him and I battled with whether I was going to tell my mom or not. And I told my mom. And I just had to tell her. Because I had nobody else to tell. At night, I went and filed a report. Because
that was the day.
That was the day for the report.
No question.
That was it.
Yes. Yes,
I
ma'am.
wasn't taking no for an answer.
Right. You taking guns now.
Oh, yeah. So, he was never served.
Why?
Because he dodged the sheriffs.
But it was granted.
Yeah. But he was never served.
Okay.
So
so let me just say this. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me say this for our ladies watching. So whenever you get to the place where you are for certain you wanted to go downtown and take a restraining order, EPO, a DVO, or whatever, if the judge approves it, you do have an active DVO in place.
Yes.
Now, if they play like they don't see it and they never get served, that's on them. Because if you and him are at Walmart and he's within 500 feet of you or 50 feet or whatever it is,
right,
and you say he's in Walmart and I'm in Walmart, they will come and lock him up.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Whether he knows it or not.
Right.
He can play them little crazy games on, well, I never knew. No. You're going to jail, sir. Because she has an active DVO out against you, and you're not, I think it's 50 feet. I think it's like,
no, I think it's like 100 feet.
Yeah, it's not much.
Right.
It's like I can see you. Yeah.
A week or so went by. You know, I was communicating with him, but we weren't hanging because, you know, at this point I'm really like, I'm scared, I'm hurt. I have a lot.
Why were you communicating with him?
Just that sense of holding on to that. I
was gonna say, and it's so typical because, you know, a DVO order is in place to protect everybody. It protects you. It protects him in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to keep him away from you. But we are still talking about a piece of paper.
Yes,
let's just be clear, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So the two people that are on the DVO
have to be the ones to enforce it.
That's it. So if one breaks it,
yeah,
you're not supposed to be talking. You're not supposed to be linking up. You're not supposed to be doing anything.
None of that.
Okay.
So, you know, whether we choose to, now the only thing with that is if we don't get caught, nobody knows.
But if you get caught.
But if we get caught,
that's
a problem.
That's a problem.
So we were communicating, you know, and my birthday was the next month. You know, I had spent the last 10 birthdays with this man.
Does mama know that you are seeing him now?
No, ma'am.
And there is an active DVO?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
She did not know.
Okay.
I was with him on my birthday and I told her I was elsewhere. When I would pick him up from work and ride with him, she did not know. She thought it was me and my kids.
Can we also say for the viewers that, you know, as shocking as Don's story is and as hard as it is for me to sit here and listen, oh, Jesus, can we just say this is a typical domestic violent victim? This is typical. Yeah. I know it sounds like, what?
Oh, it always sounds crazy.
What?
Yeah.
But when you have been in a situation where you're constantly manipulated and you're constantly being abused, whether it be verbal, physical, sexual, whatever, you begin to think that this person really is good for you. I know that sounds crazy, y'all. But you're still looking for the guy you first met. You know, you're starting to really believe that there's some problems here. But those are problems that you can help him fix. And you want to love him enough to help him. And I bet you somewhere in your mind, you caused that incident because you was talking to other people.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
You caused it because y'all were having a good night. Everything was great.
Ma'am.
He only went off because he saw your phone.
Everything was
so
good.
Now it's all your fault again.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. And, you know, and I had to apologize to that friend of mine, you know, because...
Hold on. Have you ever heard all of this?
Yes.
Okay. So you've heard all of this?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure she ain't over about ready to pass out. Because I already know.
Yeah.
Honey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I have told her everything.
I know everything now.
She knows everything now.
So, but before you knew it all, when you heard it the first time,
I wanted to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's no joke.
Yeah.
At this point, he doesn't even deserve to exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Come on. I'm back. I just had to get that little bit out because I know it's quick for people to judge. First off.
And I've been there. You know, you see a woman going through this with this man.
She's
and it's
stupid.
like,
What's
girl,
wrong with her?
Put up with that. Your man could never. He would never until you're there. And because I was that person, I
heard some more nevers. Give me my $5.
Because I was that person.
Of course.
You know,
I could never.
He would
No.
And I stayed through that. There's no way. And I was her, and I was so judged. But when you're there and you're that in love,
you don't even realize that you're that person now.
Exactly.
You're the victim.
And I had to realize that because I remembered a lot of things I said, and I said, I'm her. You 10 years and 2 kids, and you know, when I say
your best friend,
my best friend, the love I had for him, I have never had for another man. That was my You know,
we gonna put a comma there.
Oh,
and not a period.
That's not the end.
That's not the end.
Yeah, but you know, then that was my person.
Yeah, he was.
Then that was my person. Yeah,
y'all did it. It was. We not together, but we can't live without each other. But I need to see him. But I want to be there. But I know he's not good for me. But I just want to look at him. I just want to see him. I just want to talk to him.
And I think that's why I communicate. Like, I would talk to him so much, because it was, after a while, just I want to hear his voice. You know, I want to talk to him. I want to hear those words.
So many women are gonna identify.
I hope it,
because they are in love to some degree. You're in love with your abuser. You really do want to help them. You really have love for them. You really don't want to not be with them. You know, you really want it to be better.
Yes.
Honestly, I want it to be better.
And you hold on to that.
Yeah.
Because you want this so bad. It's like, I know we can get there. And this is who I want. I don't want anybody else. You know, so I picked the kids up and he wanted to hang. You know, we were supposed to have an agreement. You know, we can hang. I don't want to have this conversation that you want to have. I just don't want to talk about it today. And as good as a manipulator is, he told me, okay, we won't have it. I get it. I want this. Because now at this point, I'm 30 years old and I'm looking in the mirror, and now I'm trying to figure out, when did I become this? Mm-hmm. And that became a problem for me. And, you know, that weekend after that Friday, we didn't talk. He called, he texted, I didn't respond. Because at this point, I was done. 2022. I'm on vacation from work. So I decide that week I'm taking my son to school. You know, I'm dropping my daughter off. I have things planned. You know, I'm looking at houses. I'm doing things. I'm going to enjoy my vacation. Mm-hmm. On the way to take my son to school, I noticed a car following me in traffic. It was behind me, and then it got in front of me. And it only took about a second. And I noticed the car. He was in his mother's car. I immediately got on the phone with my mom. I said, Mama, I don't know what's going on, but he's following me. I gave her the license plate, and I stayed on the phone with her. I get to a red light, and he is directly behind me. He gets out at 9 o'clock in the morning in traffic, and he shoots me 8 times. 8. I looked him in his eyes. He looked me in mine, and he shot me 8 times with my 2 children in the back seat.
Okay, hold on. He's in the rear of you. Y'all at a red light.
Yes, ma'am.
He gets out of his car, walks up to your car, and through the window, he just starts shooting you.
Through the window, he starts shooting. My windows were up. And there is one car in front of me. Now, because I didn't know what was happening, I left space because I didn't know what to expect. Now, you know, I did get a lot of questions of, you never saw this coming. And I tell everybody the same response. Nobody could convince me, even after him strangling me, pointing a gun at me, nobody could have convinced me he would have shot me 8 times.
Wow.
I would have argued that to the end. He wouldn't have shot me.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. And he pointed directly at my driver's side window. The first one that broke my glass actually went through my mouth.
The bullet.
The bullet. It severed part of my tongue, and I had a hole in my lip.
They did a good job because I don't see a hole now.
Yes, ma'am. Stitched it up. You can never tell.
No, because it looked like a butterfly.
Oh.
When I saw her.
Yeah.
Her lip was like this. Yeah.
So as he's shooting, and and it sounds crazy because, I watch a lot of TV, so you think this is painful. I didn't feel anything. I think the smoke from the gun scared me more than anything, and the sound of it. But as he's shooting, the only thing I could think of was to get out of traffic. So I pulled from behind the car and attempted to get away, and I ran into a truck. I had a head-on collision. At this point, I had my door open in the middle of the street, and I screamed. I just screamed. I didn't know what else to do.
What were the children doing?
Crying and screaming. So why this person just did this? I'm on the phone with my mom when this happened.
So you don't feel anything on your body
I
at this point?
don't feel anything. The worst is I lost my right ring finger. I didn't feel it. I saw it. That was the only thing I noticed. I saw my finger. And, my mom, my kids are crying. I'm crying. My mom's trying to figure out what's going on.
So you're on the phone.
I'm on the phone.
I'm on the phone.
So you heard everything.
I heard. She screamed, "He just shot me."
Oh, Jesus.
And then I heard, "He just shot my finger off." And I'm like, what?
Yes, ma'am.
And then don't want to say his name. Her son said, "Nana, are you okay?" I said, "No, baby, are you okay?" He said, "I'm okay."
You're on a speaker in the car.
Yes.
Yes.
I have her on Bluetooth.
Oh,
yes,
Jesus.
ma'am.
I said, "Are you okay?" He said, "I'm okay." I said, "Is your sister okay?" He said, "She's okay." I said, "Is anybody hit?" No, mommy. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm at work. Mind you, it's 9:00 in the morning. I've only been at work an hour. Everybody in my job came out. I know they were there. I couldn't tell you who was there. I just know it was people. One of my coworkers drove me to her.
Had the police gotten there by the time you were there?
Yes. She was still there in the ambulance. They wouldn't let me see her, but the detective that I talked to assured me she was okay. He said she was alert, the strongest person he ever met. She gave out all information that they asked for, name, address, social, everything, while they're working on her. I'm checking my grandson because he's covered in blood. So I immediately take his coat off of him. And before I took it off, a detective took pictures.
Taking her out to the hospital.
And then by this time, she's gone.
God, you didn't have any organs that were hit.
Oh, when that happened, all I say is I was covered. Because seeing, when we went to get some of my stuff from my car, I didn't look at my car. Because the detective told me I probably didn't want to see my car. Mm-hmm. My mom took pictures. I looked at the pictures. And I didn't want to see my car. It was a lot. I was hit 8 times. He didn't just shoot 8 times. I was hit 8 times. To feel a lot of emotions that I wasn't ready to feel. And that's a real thing.
Can you imagine, though, the disappointment in self, the disappointment in him, the frustration in him, the frustration in yourself? Why did I stay so long? Why did he do this to me? So, again, that's that wave of emotion those very highs, those very lows, and that is all a part of the unfortunate process.
Yes, and I deal and you know, you deal with all of it. And because months before my incident, I actually lost a close friend to the same thing.
Oh my.
And even then, you know, you don't think that would ever be me.
Right.
Because she probably didn't think it would ever be her.
Absolutely.
And so when this happened, I dealt with a lot of self-blame and, guilt. You know, survivor's remorse. And it was just like, you know, maybe I should have left then. And I tell people that to this day, I said I won the first battle. I survived that. So anything after that is light work to me.
And guess what? This battle ain't yours. It belongs to God.
Ma'am. Yes,
you are simply a vessel. This whole situation, and that's what we were talking about before the camera was on, everything is divine purpose. The very bad, the very good, the in-between. God's going to use it as long as you're willing because he's able. If you're there for a reason.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, once you come out of that, it's telling the glory of God.
Yes, ma'am.
And the time from April 11th to May 10th, he was on the run.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It took him 29 days to catch him. And
29 days.
That in itself,
so now you don't even know where he's at.
No, ma'am.
Your attempted killer
is out.
Is on the loose.
Yes, ma'am.
And he knows he didn't finish the job.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, he knows he didn't kill me.
So then the constant terror that the whole family is under, we don't know where this maniac is.
Yes, ma'am.
And we don't know where or if he's going to pop up.
Right. I mean, every hoodie, every tall, slim, inkling that it could be him. I was like,
panicked.
Panicking and anxiety, but I would be out because she's at home. And I'm like, did he ever have a such and such kind of outfit?
My goodness. Okay, so here we go. This is what I want us to end with. Okay. We're going to do a part 2 of this. We have to.
Okay.
We have to do a part 2. For now, I want you, my dear, to look into this camera and say what you need to say to some of our young viewers that might be in a situation that you've been in, you've lived through. What would you say to them right now?
I get that question a lot. My advice to anybody is to just get out, because it doesn't get better. No matter how hard we believe it, it progresses. The abuse progresses, whether it's mental, physical, verbal. Emotional. I went through all those stages of abuse for 10 years. I never said it would be easy. I didn't expect it to be easy. What I had hoped for was that I would have my friend at the end of the day. Whether we had this relationship.
So hard
that's what I struggled with.
That's what you was trying so desperately to do.
Yes. And then this is coming from, since I've had my children, I've never been a single mother. I've always had him. One that looks exactly like him. So I struggle with that. That is the girl.
The daughter.
And she's actually named after him.
Okay.
So, I deal with that. Advice is to leave. It's
leave.
Just leave.
That's it. That's all.
That's it.
I don't know how y'all feel right now. I know how I feel. Oh my God, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really.
So y'all gonna see her again because we're gonna do a follow-up. We're gonna do a follow-up because it's needed. We are only 6 months into this tragedy, and there's still a lot of healing and a lot of growing. A lot that still has to process. And her babies and her precious mama, y'all have to continue on. And we're going to be here rooting for her on the Famous Renee channel. But also, my senior girls, y'all going to be seeing this video right now, right? Yes. You guys be looking for Miss Dawn again. I will have her mom, and let's check in with them in about another 6 months and see exactly just how good God's been, okay? In the meantime, you guys keep your heads up and your eyes open. Mwah. Bye for now.